So, I've been digging around mods and modding lately, and I'd like to share my perspective with you and show you what I've actually created, what I'm working on, or what I'll be working on. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this video. I started with modding of my favorite Elder Scrolls game, Oblivion, because at the time it was a game I was the most experienced with, and besides I've already written down a quest. However, given my limited knowledge about modding and my lack of experience in similar endeavors, I decided to take a simple approach. The result was my first quest, called Damarlow's Curse. I had to say this, but I invested too much time in that quest, and what came from it was just essentially boiled down to defeating an overly powerful NPC. The reward for this feat was the gear he carried. I tried to create scripts, but based on the tutorials I saw for the construction set, which is a modding program for Oblivion, I didn't learn much, and instead I got even more confused. I took a break from modding, and when I was downloading some mods for New Vegas, I started digging into the folders and came across GEC, which is, on the contrary, a modding program for Fallout games. So I became more interested in Fallout than Oblivion, and made the right decision. There are far more tutorials for GEC than for the construction set overall. So my learning began following the great YouTuber and best person for tutorials, Sedan. And honestly, these are some of the best tutorials I've ever seen, because almost everything from GEC can be used in the construction set. And with my new obtained knowledge, I tried all the things that seemed interesting to me and combined them into my first official mod, Howling of the Lone Wolf. This mod adds a new companion to the game, who is the host of the long-forgotten radio Lone Wolf. Gary, the name of this companion, had a much more complex story because he helped Benny track down the courier. Yeah, here his story kind of breaks the game's lore, but nonetheless I think it was an interesting idea. Originally, I voiced him, but I later had the artificial intelligence redo all my lines. And honestly, I might have leave my voice in it or just ask someone else for voice acting. Oh well. His story then develops into strange branches as he seeks revenge on his best friend that betrayed him and his old gang. Therefore, he sets out with the courier to find clues that lead you to the location of the traitor, Keith. After you kill him, you find out that Keith was actually a saint. And that's another part of the story that I'm not too happy about, and today I would do it differently. Once you complete this quest, Gary becomes a normal companion, and the story was not further developed, although the plans were quite extensive. I would like to redo Gary in the future, creating a kind of a remake to better fit the New Vegas storyline. The second mod I released differed quite a bit from what I work on in the future, because this mod mainly relied on a script that added a timer to the game for obtaining the platinum chip. To explain it better, it was supposed to function similarly to the main quest in first Fallout, where you have to find the water chip before time runs out, and everyone in your world dies of thirst. A truly simple mod, but special events occur based on how much time has elapsed. If you run out of time, Benny wins and you lose. Before we continue the video, I'd like to say most of the other mods weren't released and probably won't be, because they are either unfinished or didn't seem good enough to me in the end. So, next mod. Hank was supposed to be another companion similar to Gary, except he was a wandering singer from Vault 24. Later I realized that using AI for Hank was a bad idea due to the sound quality, and I didn't want to find someone to voice and sing his songs. So he instead became a guitarist in his band called The Drifting Sands. Your task was to visit places where Hank and his band used to perform. In these locations, he left his notes mentioning his journey and other band members. Once you found 3 notes, Hank's second quest will activate. Hank has a strange illness which can be cured, but you need to find a doctor. based on Hank's dialogue, you can take him to the doctor or else he will die, basically. So, the doctor then tells you that she can help him, but her autodock is broken and you have to find new components for it to repair, which is scattered around the wasteland. Once you have all the components and you go back to the clinic, you can decide whether to sabotage the whole operation or not. This quest was supposed to continue all the way to the vault, where you would uncover more lore about Hank and his gang. This was originally a mod created purely for a video, something like a devlog or a challenge video. However, in the end I didn't use much of it, and instead I was just testing my impressions of a ghoul.
What are you looking at?
And quest creation overall. It was a really simple quest. In the Good Springs bar, you find Texas Red and start asking him questions. Once you ask him about the Arizona Ranger, the quest activates, and you set out to find the Arizona Ranger, or at least what's left of him, in the cellar where he was imprisoned. You find a few clues about a cult that stole his duster and sacrificed it to someone named Red King. At this point I decided that the quest itself wasn't really that good and I just quickly decided to finish it. Once you obtain the duster, you have to go back to Texas Red while wearing it. This activates Red's flashbacks and you can challenge him to a duel. Together, you ride on his motorcycle to Agua Fria, where, by the way, the entire song takes place. And there's the final duel. You can also persuade Texas Red using his letter, which you can steal from him. The mod as a whole is, it's not really good. Okay, this is something I'd like to come back to in the future. Just a bit more prepared than before. This mod could be considered an attempt of an expansion mod, where as the courier you take control of a submarine that you can operate using switches on the control panel to change its coordinates. I also created upgrades for the submarine to explore greater depths. I've designed a few locations, a map layout and some quests that haven't been added to the mod yet. The main problem I had with this mod, and somewhat still do, is the main story. What would be your purpose once you set out to explore the depths? I mean, I have some ideas, but it's more of a background on which I can build the rest of the world. But it's still one of my favorite projects I've worked on. And this is a mod that will be released really soon. In fact, it should be out this week. I won't really tell you much about it, but I can tell you that gameplay wise it's ready. Only thing that needs to be done right now is the voice acting, but really it should be this week done. And what does it really do? Well, it adds several NPCs, including one main character for whom you will perform various tasks. Currently it only has 2 quests, but over time I will definitely be adding more content. So be sure to check it out. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching, listening, whatever. Really, thank you. I hope you enjoyed this video and make sure to subscribe and maybe look on my other stuff I do here on YouTube. Thanks and see ya!